All right, hey you too. This Friday morning, and I am out here doing my walk. Now, I'm at Euclid Creek. However, I'm not walking that path. Okay. Yes. My friend is working this morning, so we're not doing that mountain. I'm on the street here. I can't think of this road right here. So when I come out here, I see a lot of people, instead of walking the path over here in the creek, over there, which is what I usually show you guys, they walk this. This is a nice incline. Steady. Man, I drive it all the time, right? But I'm looking at it like, oh shit. So anyway, I just saw this lady completing her walk, and I asked her how far she walked. She tells me she walks all the way up to the main road and then comes back. So I thought maybe she after she came back, she would then walk the path in the, over here in the creek. But she says, in the park, she says she doesn't. Just this. So I said, I must try it. So here I am trying it, y'all. We'll see how far I get. When I do these things, I take my time. No rush. Now, I had some things I wanted to talk about, right? But I can't remember not naming one of them. Well, I did want to talk about, I had been wanting to make a video on when I was a chaplain. I'm just not feeling it right now, so I don't know why, but I'm not. Some of my experiences doing my chaplaincy. I did it twice. I did it as a resident, which was a year, and as an intern, which was only like for 3 months. One in Atlanta, one here in Cleveland. Hey, maybe I will go ahead and talk about it. Look at the woods down there. I don't know if y'all can really see. I mean, I've never been down through there. But anyway, the only part I don't like about this is the sun beaming on me. I just, listen, like it's some stretches here where there's no trees. I don't like all that damn sun. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't. I shouldn't call it damn sun. Forgive me, sun. What I mean is, I just don't like that sun beaming down, on me. I don't like it. Oh wow, look how pretty the creek is. See, let me see if you guys. Okay, I hit some button by accident, turned it off by accident. Did it again. I turned it off by accident twice. Okay, but anyway, it looked like you guys could see. But anyway, okay, so yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the heat. Okay, I don't. But anyway, it looks nice over there. Oh my gosh, it looks so beautiful over there. Look at that. Oh. All right, but let me keep on going here. I don't know if I'm gonna walk as far as she did. I don't know if I'm gonna walk all the way to the main road. So about 45 minutes up, 45 minutes back. We'll see. It's really not that bad. Because like I said, it's a nice steady incline here. But anyway, no, I don't want to talk about the chaplaincy. I don't know what I want to talk about. Nothing in particular. And trying to listen to some good music while I do my walk, of course. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, I'll talk about my chaplaincy because I can't think of nothing else. That was a real interesting experience. My first one was, like I said, an internship in Atlanta. As I graduated from seminary in Atlanta. I was on the, y'all, I was featured on Lou Rawls' Parade of Stars. Oh man, look, here goes some more. Can y'all see that over there? Yeah, I never saw it. But anyway, I was featured in Atlanta on Lou Rawls' Parade of Stars. Well, you know how, I don't even know if that comes on anymore. But, so pretty. When, you know how they feature students, you know, and I was one of the features. I don't even remember how I was chosen for that. I don't remember. I mean, I was pretty good student academically when I was in graduate school. I ain't do too bad in undergrad either. I mean, I had, you know, I did much better in my college years than I ever did, excuse me, and you know, in lower education in high school and whatnot. Terrible grades. You know. Whereas like in elementary school, I had some subjects I was pretty damn good in. Just some, maybe like 2. I was always really good at spelling. If it was anything, well, I went to Protestant Christian school, so I had to take religion. And when this is just a hill for a minute. When I took religion, I had to memorize Bible verses. Memorization, you know, I memorized it real quick the night before that morning. And we had to go to the teacher, each person, and recite the Bible verse. If I didn't look at it at all, you know, or hardly, I didn't, you know, do too well. But spelling, then my last 2 years of high school, because I transferred schools, and I had to study, what did I do? I had to do, what the hell was it? I had to do business classes because the classes that I needed to graduate, I had already taken enough credits of them, even though I didn't do good in them. You know, the higher maths and sciences and whatnot. They was like, you know, I was a junior in high school when I transferred, so they were like, her grades are too low. she won't pass. Too far behind. So, but they did accept me into the school, which was good. Which was a surprise, because they don't normally, well then, I don't know about now, but not then, they didn't normally accept people that late going into Catholic school, you know. But they accepted me. But there was one girl that came, new girl, by senior year. And she might have come from another Catholic school, though. I can't remember. But yeah, it was me and another girl they accepted in. But now the other girl did come from a Catholic school. She came from another Catholic school. But anyway, so, you know, I hadn't. But probably because I went to Protestant Christian schools, they were more open to accepting me. You know, not Catholic, not a Catholic school, low grades, you know, but for some reason they took the risk, you know, and they accepted me. Well, the man who was my pastor back then, he wrote me up a real nice, you know, what do you call those letters? Recommendation letter, from what I understand. But anyway, you know, when college, it was more a thing where generally I did good, 1 or 2 classes, it wasn't a matter of struggling because undergrad, I majored in film and theater. It was very, very simple, you know. But if I just didn't do the work, you know, or late or not study for my tests and stuff like that, you know. Then when I went to seminary, I don't think I struggled in any class in seminary. There was one I definitely remember because this man was just crazy as hell. The professor, it was that thing where we all was looking at each other like, what the entire hell is happening? You know, and it was my senior year. It was the class that you took your senior year. It is worry. I don't know, this man, Dr. Earl, and they said after his wife died, he just lost it. And was just taking his shit out on everybody. Students, everybody. But nevertheless, but I passed. You know, I passed. I mean, his class was like, he's up there talking about shit, has nothing to do with the topic for weeks. And then every blue moon, he touched on the subject of the class. You get a test and it's like, none of this is in our book. None of this was in our lectures. You know, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? You know. But anyway. So, after I graduated, I stayed in Atlanta just for a second, just to do, well, no, I stayed for a little bit. Do my internship. Where did I do it? Was it the Atlanta Medical Center? I can't remember the name of the hospital. I think that was it. You know. And like I said, it was just for the summer, 3 months. And it could be boring for me, you know. But it was intense because I forget the levels of the hospitals. But I just know, like, we would have to do 24-hour on call sometime. You know, that was hard, man. Especially at that hospital because, listen, it was one of those ones where they would come. I mean, the emergency room was always hopping. I mean, man, please. You know, you work all day. Shit. We're on call, you know, at the hospital on site. But, man, that emergency room, I had to be in the emergency room. Well, I had to be wherever they called me. Okay? You try to get some sleep. Okay, let me try to get about 5-10 minutes real quick. You know what I'm saying? Call. And it really don't be too many patients calling for chaplain in the middle of the night. It's more so, it was the emergency situations. In the emergency room. And sometimes it was just stupid shit. Them doctors sometimes would be pissed. Because they would be, you know, all day too. And it would just be stupid stuff like, the fuck? You know, why would you do this to yourself? You know what I'm saying? People drunk. There was one kid, all I remember, I keep seeing him. Well, hearing him. He dislocated his shoulder. Just doing something silly. Man, they had to pop that thing back in place. Oh, you should have heard him screaming and hollering. You know, but then it was a lot of situations, which was very unfortunate. You know, a lot of death. And as a chaplain, you would think the chaplain would let the family know, but we were not allowed to let the family know. It was the doctor's role to do that. We just had to be there, you know. And when I had to call, you know, that we had to go through that stuff, find information, you know, to make a call, you know, their caregiver or, you know, like parents, loved ones, whatever the case, for anybody really, not just people who died, you know, for anybody. And, you know, if they were there by themselves. So the call, like there was one time, these kids they were just teenagers. The girl had just learned to drive. I think it was 4 of them in a car. Storming. They go to a game. And she was driving down the wrong side of the road. Got hit by like a truck, semi or something like that. Dead on arrival, except one kid wasn't dead. Not on arrival. He did end up dying though, you know. So that was a call I had. So I had to call the family, you know, but I couldn't tell them, which kind of bothered me a little bit because, like, damn, I know your child is in here dead, but I gotta call you and tell you to come to the hospital. But hell yeah, of course, because you don't need to tell them that their child has died, and they're trying to get there, and they in that kind of grief, you know what I'm saying? So they get there. I have to meet with them. Can't tell them shit. Just sitting there with them till the doctor comes in. They're asking me questions. I can't answer that, man. Sir. You know, oh my God. It's just really hitting me, this particular situation. I remember that father in there with his son and his wife. I had to tell him. The doctor told him if she died, they were dead. You know, now, when I did this work, I was like in my late 20s. And death to me has always been like, well, you know, death is a part of living. It's part of life. So it didn't really impact me at that time as heavily as you would think, you know. And this wasn't like once or twice, you know what I'm saying. I had to meet with this all the time, you know, quite often. And I just remember when as soon as the doctor told him, that man broke down. Now, like I said, it just hit me a certain way, remembering his face, how he broke down. Man. I saw, you know, a lot of times in the emergency room, like I said, it would just be just stuff like, you know, just how the hell you do that to yourself, you know. You know, just random, you know, just like that could have been avoided. You know what I'm saying? Somebody came in one time, you know, I think he shot himself by accident, you know, walked in on his own. I think it was his leg or foot or something like that. Man, see, I got a little bit of flat land for a second. Back to a hill. I have to use the bathroom. And I wonder, there are people in that building, but they may not let me in. But anyway, let me see, because I may have to end up going back down to the park, but I want to try and do this hill. But it's just like nothing but houses up there for a minute. I can ask. And they be like, no, man, you can't come in here and use our toilet. Okay, but anyway, there were times though that I was really touched and, just overwhelmed, like with people's situations. Had a patient, his boyfriend called, his partner, whatever, called, and he had, his, lover, his partner, whatever, he was dying of AIDS, and he was so hurt and he was so broken. It was so sad. And, of course, asking me things like, why does God let this stuff like this happen? Stuff like that. Hold on, let me try and do this. All right. I'm back. This video gonna be all choppy. Anyway. I can't remember what the hell else. Oh, I was just talking about my chaplaincy and whatnot. Oh, there was a couple situations that were really bothersome to me. That did make me cry. A friend of mine, she was like, I don't see how you did that. She said, that would have tore me up, But, a lot of times, that chaplaincy. Well, when I went to do my residency at Cleveland Clinic, my supervisor, he was, from Detroit, born in Detroit, but he was coming from the head of the spiritual care department at one of the hospitals in San Francisco. I don't remember, the name of it or the hospital, but anyway, Kenny was his last name, Dennis Kenny, and he at Cleveland Clinic, the department was called pastoral care. He didn't hire me. The person who was over the department for years hired me. Well, it's not so much hired. It accepted me into the program. It's a program, okay? And residency is for a year. And so when Mr. Kenny came in, he changed it to, we never called him Mr. Kenny, okay? It was Dennis. He changed it to spiritual care, because pastoral care has this kind of connotation over it that when you meet with people, pastoral care is from a Christian perspective. So you're going to, in a hospital, you're going to come from that perspective. But a lot of times, the chaplaincy, he changed it to spiritual care because when you're working in that kind of setting, especially a hospital like Cleveland Clinic, I mean, you got people from all over. I mean, like all over America, all over the world, come there. VIP section, because you got, royalty coming. Okay? And people of different faiths, belief systems. And you have to be able to provide care for them that is beyond your religious scope of understanding. Some people, you got people, they're not going to be the same faith. They're not going to be Christian. Okay? They may not have any faith at all. They may not be religious at all. You might have some atheists call for chaplains, and I had an atheist call for the chaplain. Called me. Well, I was the chaplain for that floor. Okay? So you don't want to go in with people who are sick. You think, why would an atheist call for a chaplain? Well, I'm sure some of you know, like when you're in a hospital, your health, situation is at stake. Okay? And you're not well. You just want the care. Okay. You want to know that you're not alone. In some sense, yes, you want to know that everything's going to be all right. Nobody can tell you that. You know, people can go into the hospital for very simple procedures and die. You know, okay? So, you know, going into surgery and all that kind of thing, medication, so on and so forth. Okay, whatever. You know, you right on that, what do you want to call it? No, in between, like life and death. You know, what the hell gonna happen? You know, am I gonna be all right? Am I alone? You know, people come there. Some people are very alone. They don't have anyone to visit them. You know, so people aren't necessarily looking for someone to preach at them about and proselytize. And is your heart right with Jesus? People want to hear that. All that pressure. I'm already under a lot of pressure. Yeah. Now, some people, they might want to hear some scriptures of comfort. You know, like I said, with the man who had AIDS, his partner, he had those. He didn't want to hear no scriptures now. I'll just tell you that. But he did have questions about God, you know. And why would God allow this? What kind of God? You know, that type of thing, all right? So, that's the training I got at Cleveland Clinic. But when I was in Atlanta, there was a young girl, about 14, just had a baby, you know, and her cousin was first cousin was father of this child. You know, so it wasn't just about, now she didn't call for a chaplain, because when I would do those internships and residencies, we had to just, whatever floors we were assigned to that we chose, and I chose that area. I want to work with the babies and mothers and all that, because I used to want to be a kind of, not so much a doula. I just wanted to work with women having children, okay? And I did think about being a doula. You know, I just love, when I was with the Hebrews, they had, in the village in Israel, the Kifar, they had a birthing area, clinic, where the ladies, you know, if there were no like life-threatening situations or anything like that, they would birth in there. And I really wanted to be a part of that, you know. But I didn't go live in Israel, which I was set to, but I didn't. I backed out. But anyway, you know, so I would walk the floor, you know, go to room, just let them know who I was, let them know I'm there if they ask if they want to talk or anything like that. And she said, yeah, we talked. You know, she was really spaced out. You know, I don't know if she had medication or it was just a situation at hand. You know, but that was kind of hard for me, talking to this young girl. You know, in some ways, she didn't seem to be too affected by the idea of this, you know, her cousin fathering, you know, her baby. I don't know. I kind of think, I can't remember. I don't know if he was taking advantage of her, like, you know, or like molested her or raped her. I can't remember. Or if it was something that they were both engaging in with one another willingly. I don't remember. Okay. You know, she didn't seem to be, it bothered her a little bit, but she didn't seem to be, it was other stuff. She had a whole lot of other stuff she was talking, trauma, you know. Just, it was her background, her home life, stuff like that. But I'm going to tell you what really Man, listen. There was one girl, I think she was like 17, 18, something like that, 19. She was a teenager, but a little older. She had a baby, but the baby was premature. And her mom and her grandmother was there. I think her brother, everything, sister. But the baby didn't have all his fingers. Like on one hand it was 3 fingers, on the other hand it was 2 fingers. You know, and a couple of other health issues. But they told me, you know, that she wasn't, that she was going to be okay, you know. But I didn't know the specifics, but that she was, you know, kind of not well, but she was going to be all right. So I went to the infirmary, you know, where the sick babies were, which I would go there a lot. But anyway, and I saw the baby, and it was so taken aback by her little finger, her little hands. So I went back, and I said, you know, I told them I saw her, and would they like to pray about it? Because they had let me know they were Christian people. I mean, it's in your chart, who and what's what. And they said, yeah. I'm praying. Next thing I know, I'm bawling my eyes out, man. It just touched my soul. My little heart so heavy. And I was like, oh, just crying. I got done praying. And they were looking at me like, well, is she going to be all right? Because they were okay. Because, they, you know, the doctor assured them that, you know, how they could take care of the situation, whatever the medical procedure was, you know, surgical procedure, whatever. That baby was going to be all right. Now, you would have thought that I'd be crying in them rooms where, you know, people were dying and whatnot, or had died. I didn't. But that right there, whew, man, it hit me hard, boy. Bawling my eyes out for that baby. And I was like, are y'all all right? Are you going to be all right? They looking like, are you going to be all right? We fine. You know. And I love to go there, you know, with the sick babies. The babies who weren't well. The babies who were premature. Oh, and I would just, if I could, some of them, you know, you couldn't touch them. But some of them, because some of them, they didn't have anybody, you know, maybe the parents, the mother was not well. They couldn't come up there and hold them and stuff. And nurses, they could only do it for so long. So, you know, they loved it when I came in there. Oh, and I would just hold them and rock them and love on them. Oh, there's this one little fella. Oh, I just love that little boy. I just hold him. And sit in the rocking chair and just rock that little baby. Every time I love, he screamed, no. Of course, he didn't say no, but that was, you know, his baby. He would just scream, his little heart out. I love that little baby. And I felt so bad when I had to leave, but, you know, I can't stay, hold you all the time now. They did allow me to look at a circumcision. The door was closed, but there was a window, and they let me look in and watch that procedure, which that really bothered me. You know, that little baby screamed his heart out, turned just as red. I mean, you talking about fucking trauma, man. Oh shit, there's a dead rat on the ground. That really bothered me. Now, those are the main things I remember. Always in the emergency room. You know, when I do my 24-hour call, couldn't hardly get no sleep. Doctor's pissed about it. And you may not like hearing that, but you got to remember, the doctor is a human being. And I know you said, well, that's his job, blah, blah. He did his fucking job. Okay? Still don't mean he don't want no damn sleep, too. Okay? You know, especially sometimes it was things that people were coming in, things that could have simply been avoided. You know, when people getting hit and being killed and stuff like that. Completely different story. Completely different story. But now my internship at Cleveland Clinic year, we did have 24-hour call. I think at least 2. And Cleveland Clinic wasn't one of those, whatever the code is or whatever, I can't remember, where it wasn't a lot of, I never was called to the emergency room. It was a 24-hour call at Cleveland Clinic was much, much easier, much lighter, But, a lot of death still. Now, I remember this was in Atlanta, yeah. Now, this was a sad, sad situation where, the person is, what they say, like brain dead or whatever, or would they have them on that machine? Where that's basically what's keeping them alive. Call, 24-hour call, get a call to go to this floor. And it pretty much was, the doctor just made a decision to, as they say, quote unquote, pull the plug, There was nothing in the doctor's estimation. And the person had been on there for a while. And now from my understanding, usually they say when people are on those machines, they usually are not going to make it. And it's like every now and then thing, when they do, kind of a miraculous situation. But often they don't, And so he had decided, that nothing more could be done. But now this was the middle of the night, families called there. Man, I have no say whatsoever in anything. Those people begged me to plead with that doctor to keep that man on that machine. Are you kidding me? I was like, man, there is absolutely nothing that I can do in that regard. I can't. Hell, the doctor don't even have time to walk right over your chaplain ass. Okay? Of course, he wasn't there. It was a phone call. Now, which I thought was kind of cold. But I don't know the situations behind that. So that was hard. And I stayed with them as long as I could. And that was hard for me. Because those people were just like, it was like desperation, And let me see. Cleveland Clinic. There was a situation like that. However, what the difference was, that it took place in the hospital room, and the family wanted a chaplain there to read scripture as right after they, pulled that plug, so that the man's soul could, be guided, to heaven, a better place, whatever. And that room was packed. It was very, like ceremonial. And I really found it an honor to be able to participate in that and to read the scripture. It was just an honor for me. I was thankful. Had people fall out. Not this situation. I'm just talking about some events. One lady, she was Muslim. It was my first call at Cleveland Clinic. I go up there. They didn't speak English. I don't know. I think it was her husband in the room. I didn't even get to the room before the lady just fell out. As soon as I got up there, I looked, and she was, you know, she was talking to everybody, but she didn't speak English. And she just fell out, you know, on the floor, you know, crying and tears and everything. You know, I had no clue what to do. It was my first call there. And I got to meet a lot of people from other parts of the country because, you know, they were sent to Cleveland Clinic because what their situations were, cancer and various forms of cancer and some other things. The hospitals in their hometown, there weren't any that could help them. So they were sent to Cleveland Clinic. Cleveland Clinic has a lot of patients like that. I mean, just like I said, worldwide, from all over the world, you know. I did get to work on the VIP floor like once. Maybe, I think I went up there twice. It wasn't nothing big. I can't even remember what it was. I just remember going up on that floor because a friend of mine from elementary school, she was a nurse. And that's where she was assigned on the VIP floor. She wasn't there though. Well, this is a long walk. This lady talking about 45 minutes, baby. One way. I think it's a little bit longer than that. Gotta munch on a little something. Hard pear. Let me see what I got. I mean, let's see what time it is. Because that main road is a ways away. 9:20. I don't even know what time I started. I usually look. I didn't look. Okay, but I'll just keep on for a minute. And then turn around. Because I keep looking, thinking, I'm almost there. And then I look, I'm like, no, you got a ways to go before you get to that main road. But anyway, I had one situation. That lady just talk me about her whole life. And the man, how the husband didn't do it right, all kinds of stuff, you know. But that's okay, because, like I said, a lot of times, he just wants somebody to talk to. Or somebody to listen, you know, while they're there. They don't want you to preach at them. Okay? And throw scriptures at them. Whatever their faith is. Now, again, sometimes people might want some scriptures, or want you to read from a religious text. Usually they'll tell you. You know, you kind of let them direct what it is that they want. They called you there. Okay? It's not for you to go in there and tell them, this is what I'm going to give you because I feel this is what you need. No. No. You know? And I was glad for my supervisor to teach us the difference, you know. They let us do quite a bit there. It was about 8 of us, a team of 8. Now, we weren't the main chaplains. We were in a program. It's called Clinical Pastoral Education. It's the Association for Clinical Pastoral Education. You can look it up, acpe.org, I believe. But anyway, they let my group do a lot. One of my colleagues was from Chicago, Steve. I mentioned him last video. Tall, white guy, vegan. Me and him we're not Christian. We were the only ones in the group. But he was vegan, so he would go to the cafeteria. Now, this was a while ago for those of you who may be familiar with Cleveland Clinic. Now, they've made a lot of changes. But when we were there, it was just like the typical food, you know. Stuff that just, you know, probably not the best for you, okay? And he kind of was disgusted by their vegan choices because there weren't really any vegan choices. I mean, you had salad. You had stuff that could be counted as vegan, but not vegan meals. So he was able to, with our supervisor's permission, You know, because he don't need no problems and trouble. So I don't know who he had to write. I don't remember, but whatever department, he told him, you know, that they really needed to have some vegan meals to, you know, a hospital like Cleveland Clinic. Are you kidding me? You have people from all over the world come here. And this is all, the only choices you have to be more open, you know. So he told him, you know, and let me tell you something, Stephen was an excellent cook. Excellent. Stephen would bring food for all of us, honey. And it would be so good. So he really knew spices and flavors and all of that type of thing. Hell, I am close to the main road. Hey! So anyway, they allowed him to go to the cafeteria and you know, teach them how to make some of the meals, vegan meals. And I think they did it like maybe once a week. You know, at first it was a trial, see how it went over well. Then he was able to do it weekly, and they just implemented it, you know. And I was like, wow, you know, I didn't think they would. You know what I mean? But they did. I thought that was pretty dope, you know what I'm saying? You know, now, I had a situation, they had this thing about empathy, teaching us about empathy, the whole hospital at the time. That was like the theme for the year or something like that, something about empathy, you know. And staff needing to feel as though that what they are doing is beneficial, you know, like, or that it's helpful, that it made a difference, you know, not just do your job and just whatever. You know, so I had a situation one night, somebody died. You know, I had to be there with the doctor. Now listen, in my experience up to that point, because I did see a lot of death, I saw some doctors, they was cold as ice about the shit. In Atlanta and in Cleveland. Your person dead. Okay. And they be out. And I'd be sitting there like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker just, I mean, no, nothing, just cold. But you know what? A part of me was like, what do you expect him to do? Okay, now I'm not saying they had to be cold, because someone was just like ice cold. And I don't think it was a matter that they didn't care. Okay. You know, you can get cold yourself to some things. You know, you're a doctor, depending on whatever area you work in, and you see death all the time. Okay? And then you have to learn how to be able to divorce that this is something that happened, and it is like no bearing on, well, it could be, I was going to say bearing on your performance, but it could be. You know what I'm saying? You know, sometimes it is, but not all the time. And to not allow that to you take that to heart every single time that happens. Because everybody ain't gonna make it. Period. How many years you practice? Everybody ain't gonna make it. Everybody not supposed to. Sometimes maybe you did make an error. Maybe something, you know, maybe if you had done something a little different, that person might still be here, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, this doctor, he was not like that. Young man too, you know, very attractive, very attractive. And he wasn't like that. He was more empathetic. He really was more caring in his delivery. Didn't tell him and then just leave out the room, you know. And when it was all said and done, I went to him. I introduced myself, told him I was a chaplain. Because sometimes, I mean, there's no acknowledgement at all. Well, at least in my experience, you know, and my colleagues, there was no acknowledgement of our presence there. It was just like, you know, you're just part of the whole, you just plugged in with the rest of the staff that's supposed to be here. And, you know, if we want you here, okay? And so, you know, I'm going to introduce myself to folk. I'm not waiting on no damn body, okay? So I introduced myself to him, told him who I was, that I was in the room with him. And I told him, I said, I thought that the way he handled it and his delivery, you know, went in line with the theme for the hospital that year about empathy. And that I thought he did a good job. I didn't think anything of it. I told my mom, now my mom had been working at Cleveland Clinic, you know, when Cleveland Clinic was a little small, little building, you know. And she looked at it, she said, because my mother noticed this. She knew the surgeons. She worked with them, you know, for years. They knew her and she knew them. Oh, because she was a nurse, registered nurse. She worked in the ER first and then she worked in the OR. Okay. Matter of fact, she started teaching the people who handle the instruments and whatnot, you know. But anyway, teaching them how to, you know, sterilize them and things of that nature. What they were, the whole whatever it's called. I forget the program. But anyway, she said, you told him that? And I was like, yeah, you know, because they've been talking about empathy all year and, you know, from what I had seen. And I told him, you know, that I had seen in my experience that some doctors were not very empathetic in their delivery, you know, to families when, you know, a family member had died or, you know, friend, loved one or whatever. The man just literally stood there looking at me with his mouth hanging open. Like he just couldn't believe what I was saying. So I thought maybe I said something wrong or some shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the fuck he looking at me like that. That's what I'm thinking, you know. All right, y'all, I'm headed back. I'm thinking, now, I made it all the way to the main road. That's pretty good. I don't know the mileage. I'm going to have to find out because I'm pretty damn sure it's longer than what's in that park. Okay? But I don't know. I'll find out. But anyway, you know, so I'm thinking like, you know, why is he looking at me like that? You know, they've been talking about this empathy shit all year. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we ought to know, you know, I should introduce myself to you. I may see you again. This is my floor. You know what I'm saying? So, I told my supervisor, because we would have a group sessions with one another. So I told my supervisor. And, no, I didn't tell him. I didn't tell him right away. No, I didn't. I didn't tell him right away. What I did was, at the time, the president of Cleveland Clinic was Toby Cosgrove, Dr. Toby Cosgrove, okay? So, my mother knew him well. She had worked with him for years. Now, I had never met him or anything like that. You know, these her work folk. But what I did the next day, because I believe that was when I was on call, yeah, I emailed Dr. Cosgrove. And I let him know, you know, what happened. And that I felt that was a perfect moment to, you know, be in line with the theme for the year, which was empathy. And I told him the doctor's name and I told him who he was. And I said, I just wanted you to know he you know, he did a wonderful job in how he spoke with the family. He was very caring and very empathetic and blah, blah, blah. Sincerely, me, okay? Didn't think shit else about it. Next thing I know, I'm getting an email back from him, or his secretary, and Dr. Cosgrove wants to meet with you in his office on this day at this time. At first I'm thinking, well, oh shit. You know, because the guy was looking at me the doctor was looking at me like, what? You know? And my mom said to me, she said, the man was looking at you like that because she said, nobody approaches the doctors like that at Cleveland Clinic. And I'm like, well, you know, that's the thing. They've been talking about empathy. Shit.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You look nice this morning.
Thank you. Don't I know
Not yet. Do you?
you? You look so familiar to me. All right, I'm back. But anyway, well, I was saying, you know, so, you know, she tell me people don't talk to the doctors like that. Listen, I don't understand people. Now, I didn't email Dr. Cosgrove because I wanted anything from Dr. Cosgrove. We were being taught something and instructed to do. No one instructed me to talk to that doctor, but this thing about empathy all over the place. See, a lot of times, sometimes things is just talk. Okay, feel good talk, because the majority of people are not going to act on anything, but what they commonly do every day, or what's, you know, if it's anywhere out of their comfort zone, they're not going to do it. And if it's not anywhere in their comfort zone, they're not going to even think to do it. All right. Now, okay, these are not things I was taught to do in terms of, I don't really care who you are. You know, you be president of the earth, goddamn. I don't need anybody to introduce me to you. I'm going to introduce myself to you. It's like I did this past week of one of the superintendent of one of the schools. And the person who, in their position, who should have had the mind to introduce me to him because of my position, didn't. It's okay. So I did. I introduced myself to him at the appropriate time. And based off the conversation, a door was opened. You know, if you want things in life, if there's something that you want for yourself, you have to be willing, you know, to do those types of things, take those kind of risks. But more so, you have to be willing to believe in yourself enough to do it. And you stand tall. And you let that person know who you are. And I don't mean no sassy shit. My name is. This is who I am. This is what I do. Okay? It's very nice to meet you. It's an honor to meet you. You know, people, they work for their positions. I had one lady tell me that she would refuse to call people with PhDs doctor. Why? Well, they ain't my doctor. Well, they're not a medical doctor. They have a PhD, a doctor of philosophy in a particular subject. I ain't calling them no doctor. Well, that's where you are, and that's where you will stand. And you won't move any further because nothing against her, lovely woman. But these people work for they didn't decide that they were to create that title based off of a certain amount of education. No, but they did go do the work that was required for them to receive the title. And you feel as though you have the right to deny them of the title that they worked for because they're not a medical doctor. There's more than one type of doctor. A person with a Juris Doctorate, a lawyer, can be called doctor. And I know that's that, youthful way of thinking. I don't know, youthful ain't the damn word. I can't think of the word. You know, I hate to just say immature, but whatever. Low way of thinking that you think that, children think that only doctors are medical doctors until they get older and they start to learn, oh, that's a doctor too? Yeah, but they're not a medical doctor. Oh, that's a doctor too? Yes, they're a doctor of law. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? You know. But you want to be acknowledged in your role. And you want to be respected in your role, but you refuse to give respect to people who have done what they needed to do to obtain a title. Okay, that they didn't design that shit. They didn't determine it, but they did the work for it. But you basically saying that they don't deserve it. They ain't my doctor. You silly. Or that way of thinking is silly. But anyway, back to Dr. Cosgrove. So, my supervisor found out, because he had to, that's the department I worked in. And, he wanted to be a part of the meeting, which, and here we go with the games and the politics or whatever. All right, well, whatever. I can't tell him no. So I go to meet with Dr. Cosgrove. And he wanted to know who I was, wanted to know more about me. So I told him who I was, what I was about, etc., etc. And his secretary was like, let's say his wife. And she wasn't his secretary. She was his something. I can't remember her title, but, They wanted to create a position for me. And I told them, I said, well, honestly, what I think from what I've seen in my, my experience is that sometimes I believe the doctors themselves need a chaplain all for themselves. Okay? These men and women, they have a lot on them, burnt out. And I said, I can imagine that sometimes what may seem like them being cold or, non-empathetic, or is it unempathetic? Whatever. Not empathetic. For example, the death, death and just, okay, if a person dead, they died and they're gone. How often do they have to deal with this? They're human too. And maybe realizing that they have to deal with the fact that this person may have died maybe at their hands. Okay? Or even if not at their hands, but like they made a mistake or error or something like that, just under, their medical, authority, leadership or whatever, care, medical care. That's a lot. That's heavy for a person to deal with, and to have to deal with often. Okay. She looked desperate to create a position for me. A position was created, okay? But it was given to someone else. Now, that's when the politics and the bullshit come in. Okay? Well, I was, the best way I could describe it was I was just too through. Well, of course, it was given to the white girl. My supervisor, he thought that the smartest people in the group were me and her. You two are the most intelligent people in this group. Well, but of course, now, she's second. While I take the lead. But anyway, so he, but there was a difference between me and her. One obvious difference, okay, color of our skin, but I don't really, one thing that, well, I don't know if I could say it's problematic or something I need to work on, figure out how to, no, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to have to figure out how to manage it. I don't do the, go along to get along. It's just not in my DNA. It's just really not. On my father's side, nor on my birth mother's side. Okay. And so it's got like, Yeah, you got the wrong person, buddy. You know. So it's a, how dare you type of thing. No, I'm going to tell the truth. I'm going to deal with the truth. That's what I'm going to deal with. Now, if the land of the lost and lies and all that kind of thing is what you deal with, you don't want the truth. I'm not the person. I'm really not the person to, be here. But it was all right because I don't think that position really did much for her. And it didn't do much for her because it wasn't for her in the first place. It was not for her in the first place. And it wasn't the higher ups who decided that it should be given to her. I had a interference supervisor. But at the same time, I think there was something else he wanted me to do. I don't know. People have these things they want you to do. They won't tell you though. They see you, you're an intelligent person. You carry yourself a certain way. Okay. And you really liked me, the way I handled myself. But you won't tell me what it is. And I didn't know. Just naive and green as the day is long. You know what I'm saying? Just innocent. And so you tried to maneuver. You're going to try to maneuver my pathway here, to bend to your maneuver and make it bend to your will. Just tell me, shit. What do you want? What is it that you would like for me to do for you? And if it will be a benefit to me as well, hey, let's make it happen. The people like to, to sneak shit. And if I can get them, no, you can't get me to do shit. Just tell me what it is that you're interested in or what your thoughts are. And, if I'm interested, we can work that way. Because usually what happens is when people roll with me like that or try, what happens is that shit ain't going to go in your favor no motherfucking way. Because you're being deceitful and you're fucking lying. And I pick up on that shit. And even if I don't, there's someone or something that picks up on it, that knows it, and I'm removed from that situation. So you didn't benefit from your whatever, not from your deceit, and then whatever it was that you wanted to do, just here it fell flat. Okay. Like I said, that shit didn't work for her. It was almost like it was nothing. Because that shit wasn't designed for her. And I really don't think she wanted to do the shit no motherfucking way. But he want me to do it, so I do it, and maybe it'll be a benefit to me later on. No, it ain't. No, it's not. He don't want you. He don't want you to work with him. He don't want you on this fucking team like that. But he want me to do something. And he doesn't have the courage to just say it. This is what the fuck I want. Let's talk about this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. But anyway. So that was a nice situation. Now, I saw Dr. Cosgrove a couple years later at the City Club of Cleveland. They had some kind of, one of their meetings or whatever I went to, and was he speaking? Yeah, he was speaking. And I saw him, he was standing in my way. But I didn't know it was him, he was from behind. And I just, said, excuse me, and he just looked at me. He looked at me for a minute, and then my mom told me, she said, he recognized you. Well, I'm kind of one of them people that's kind of hard to forget. Though some people do sometimes, But anyway. But that ain't too often, y'all. But anyway. So, I am parched, honey. Parched. Time for some water. Now, I'm almost back. Oh, chaplaincy. So, it was great. I had a great team. There was another lady from Cleveland, a black woman, older. She had very long locks, very beautiful woman. A young woman from South Korea, that's how she would say it. South Korea. Daizuk. Another guy from, no, he was from Maine. That's where he was, from Maine. Who else was there? This young lady from Detroit, the young white girl from Detroit. And where did she go to? Did she graduate? She graduated from one of the Ivy League colleges. I can't remember which one. And I think that was it. Was that it? And me. Steve. I already told you guys about Steve. I think that was it. So they thought it was really a good idea about me saying the chaplain just for the doctors. Something set aside solely for them. Period. I mean, the chaplain in general is for everybody in the hospital. But please. Okay? And ain't no doctors calling for no damn chaplain for themselves. Okay? But if there was something that they could implement to set aside solely for them, you know, and if not a chaplain in and of it themselves, you know, a chaplaincy is a part of it, just for them. Okay? Maybe nurses too, but no, really the doctors. Okay? And I thought it was a good idea. I don't know what I don't know what happened with that. But like I said, if they tried to do something with whatever that girl was doing, it just fell flat. And I don't think that position was never recreated again. It didn't go any further than that. Of course it didn't. Shit. Well, at least as far as I know. I'm pretty damn sure. But you know, everything in time, what y'all say, divine timing, it's always important. Because sometimes we may not be ready for something anyway. You know, may not have enough experience, know-how, knowledge of self, so on and so forth, okay, that can keep us from certain things. So some things that, like I said, I was looking like, well, now ain't that some shit, you know. Some things, what they say, rejection is God's protection, child. Hold on. Listen, baby. I had to break out my pear. I'm almost there. But I'm hungry, darling. All right. I'm glad it's Friday. I always feel like it's Saturday. Step in some mud. Because Thursday is my last day of the week. Work week. For the summer. Sorry about my chewing, y'all. This pear is so fucking good, too. I got this pear, I used to only like the brown pears. Are those the Basque pears? But one time I got this pear from this market. Green pear. It was so fucking good and sweet. Now, one is hard. I forgot I had them in my refrigerator. I was like, I need some fruit. Shit. Because again, I haven't been really eating much. So, I remembered this morning, you got a pear. And it's really good, nice and sweet. I like my fruit sweet. I hate sour fruit. But anyway, that's all I can really think about my chaplaincy. A lot of death, you know. Those are like experiences that really stuck up on my mind. Cleveland Clinic, it wasn't because that program, you know, you have a set of colleagues that are set, you know, to come into the program with you. And we do a lot of group work. You know, we're not always just, you know, working for the patients. Oh, I forgot. I was a chaplain in a prison. I was at the maximum, well, it was for class. We had to do a chaplaincy for class. My senior year, my last semester. And I didn't know we had to choose where we wanted to go. I did not know where to go. You know, and I was kind of like super nervous about doing it because I had never done chaplaincy. I don't know what to do. You know, even though we were going to be trained and everything. So my teacher, you know, I've had these teachers in my life who were not going to let me get away with my little, I'm scared, you know, or let me get away with, I don't know what to do. Or my little shy thing, I don't know. You know, they would not. I had a teacher in high school, Sister Naomi. Man, she was old. She only taught seniors. She was old. Sister Naomi wasn't for that shit. Okay, I love this woman. Oh man, she set us straight all the motherfucking time. I was not a bad kid. At the time I was a junior in high school. I was silly. I could get loud, obnoxious, but it wasn't like I was when I was younger. At the time I had settled myself a little bit. And but my senior year, I was really good. You know, wasn't about that getting in trouble shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't care. I just be walking the halls because we had free time. My school was, when I went there, it was an experimental school. You know, it was not an experimental school. The school had been there, but they had implemented a program that was an experiment. And it was only a few schools in the country that were doing it. My school was one of them. And it was a school without walls. So we didn't have separate classrooms. Also, we had what we call free time. It was no study hall. Free time was you free. And it was up to you to determine what you were going to do with that free time. And it wasn't only like, you know, a few minutes here, a few minutes there. I mean, like, you know, 45 minutes here. I remember on Tuesdays, my junior year, I think so. I would have like on Tuesday, first 2 hours, you know, just free. You know, go, okay, so what you gonna do? And maybe had a couple classes. I think I had about 3 classes. And then it ended, you know, then it was free for the rest of the day. So it wasn't no set lunch period, you know. You know, had to prioritize. And then the school without walls, meaning the classrooms, you know, we weren't these separate rooms. You know, I'd be divided by something, a cabinet or something like that. I don't think they were all the time divided. Okay? So, you know, to teach you how to focus and whatnot. Okay? So, I'll just be walking the hall. I won't be doing shit. Nikki! And she called me. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. I'm just literally walking the hall. What are you doing? The fuck? And somebody told me, it was like she likes you. That's why she pick on you all the time. I'm like, I'm literally not doing anything. Literally. If there's no one else here, I'm not loud, I'm not laughing, I'm just walking. And it was like, yeah, she likes you. And she want to make sure you don't get in trouble. So she stay on you. It's like, okay, my God. I made sure I did good in her class too, because I wasn't going to let her call me out. Because I think like our very first test, she had a separate meeting, and then she went off on all of us because a lot of people failed the test. You know, it was only like one person who passed the test, okay? Or not who passed, who got a high grade, got an A, just period. If folks didn't get C's, the rest of the class failed. I was like, man, fuck that. I'm not for this shit with this lady. You know, so I made sure I did well in that class, okay? And she did kind of compliment me at the end of the school year, you know. And it was like, okay, she do like me. So I've had teachers like that. Like, so for this class of seminary, my professor was like that. You know, she was a counselor too. I had gone to her for counseling one time. And by the time I got done talking her ear off, she was like, girl, ain't nothing wrong with you. Get on up out of here. I was like, I know, right? I was like, I guess I just needed to talk it out. But, so I was like, but I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. She was like, okay, okay, that's okay. I'll pick it for you. And she picked it was the maximum security prison for women in the state of Georgia. Okay. And when she picked it, I was like, no, I don't want to go. She was like, that's where you're going. You don't have a choice. I gave you opportunity to pick, and you know, she went for that mealy mouth shit. And I would act like that. You know what I'm saying? All right. Man, listen. I was so scared to go. How many of us was it? I think it was 3 of us. Oh, we was all just scared of shit. And then the Salvationists from the Salvation Army, they had some chaplains there too. I was so jealous of them. I'm going to tell you why. They had uniforms. Their uniforms were so fucking nice. Oh my God. You know, it just looked so like just professional. You know how uniform look. I know some of y'all don't like you. You know, some folks don't like uniform in order. You know, I like orderly shit. That shit is nice, man. I like order and structure. Okay? I can't stand that wild ass anything goes. It's a time and a place for everything. And wild ass anything goes, it's a time for that and a place for that. But you know, folks want to implement that in everything. And say, that's all right. Everything is all right. Any and everything is all right. No, it's not. So I felt like we look like some slobs compared to them women. Them women came in there sharp, shit sharp with their uniform on. Okay? But they were scared too. But it gives an appearance of professionalism, confidence. I know who I am. I know where I'm going. I know what I'm doing. Okay? Man, and I love that. Okay? I love it. Okay? But when it came down to, because we all met together with the chaplain of the entire, you know, of the prison. And she trained us and everything. Well, because some people were afraid, you know, to go on the, because they will open it up for us to go on the yard by ourselves, to go to whatever dorm or whatever that our person that we were meeting with, wherever they were. Somebody was just like, shit, listen, you know, we're not talking about a little jail, not talking about a jail. We're talking about the maximum security prison for women for the state. Okay? So, yeah, we met some women that were on death row, you know. It was for the whole state. And one person was just like, I just can't do it. I'm scared. I'm too scared. So they had it set where we didn't have to go beyond that point. We could just meet in that main building with our person. There were rooms to meet with them in. Our people, I had 3. I had a young black girl. She was the youngest person in that prison. I had a white girl. And I had a girl, I think she was Puerto Rican. And it was some interesting shit. Okay? The Puerto Rican girl ended up escaping from the prison. Okay. Eventually, they did get her. Okay. Which I didn't get to meet with her anymore. Of course. Okay. After that. Because, of course, they probably had her in deep, heavy lockdown. Okay. Young black girl, she was kind of funny. Okay, she was kind of funny, you know. And she was there for murder. But of course, after she told me murder, I was just there. I didn't do it, I know. I can't remember the white girl. I can't remember her situation, what it was. I don't remember why the Puerto Rican girl was there either. But the young black girl, she was just real more expressive, in how she talked and the things she shared with me. And I will tell you this. We did have to go to one of their services. They would have, Sunday service. So we were asked to, participate one Sunday. So we went to that. And they would take us, so we didn't have to go in the yard by ourselves. They would have somebody to meet us. And listen, even some of the guards looked like, one of them looked like she just about to lose it. But because our first day of training, they gave us a tour. So we went in all the dorms. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Why should I? I was scared as fuck. Okay, I ain't never been around no shit like I ain't been in jail. I remember being a little girl, like about 2, with my teddy bear in my arm, my mom going to pick my dad up from jail because he was out there driving drunk on Saturday. This was like every Saturday night and shit. Or Friday. It was a Friday night or Saturday night. And I remember him hanging over the bars, looking drunk as fuck. You understand what I'm saying? That's it. I don't remember shit beyond that. I didn't go to jail beyond that. Okay? There was one person I went to visit him with his family, so I don't really think that I went up there. I can't remember. I think I went up there to see him. Or I might have, but I think I was with his family. But I did when I used to sing in these choirs. The choir that I sang in, one of the choirs that I sang, a community choir, we sang at one of the detention, basically the prison for the young kids, okay, for the young boys. We would go there and sing. Now at first, I was a teenager. At first I was scared. I was like, oh shit, but it's like, stop. You with a group of people, y'all in here singing. So we went maybe once a month, I think we would go sing. But they would come when we had to go meet with the chaplain and everything. So they would meet us and walk us through the yard. It was just a rough atmosphere. Okay, it was rough. Okay, and when we did that tour, and some of them prisoners in there was just buck. Okay, and they showed us their rooms and how they lived, and everything. And one of the guards, she just looked like she was really about to have a nervous breakdown. She really did. What's the person's name? What's the title of the guy that's over the prison? I can't remember. The title of the person that's over the prison. I can't remember, but he just looked like he was stressed as fuck too. Okay. He was stressed than a motherfucker too. Okay, it was stressed every goddamn where. Okay, all right, and it just I could feel the energy, and and at one point I was like thinking to myself, we gotta go. It's time to go because the energy was so heavy, and I could feel that shit like, okay, thanks for the tour. But I will tell you this. I had to do it. It wasn't no thing. And I went to her, my teacher, and my professor at one point, like, can I please? No, you can't. She shut me down. No. Don't do it. I'm going to fail you. And you fail, you ain't going to graduate. Period. She was just like, I'm going to push you. And with that, I'm scared shit. You're going to do it. What you going to do? out there as a chaplain? Just go where it's safe? No, you know? Okay, all right. So, anyway, by the time I finished that program, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Okay? It was, now a lot of times I know that the young ladies that I met with were just flat out lying to me. Now, at first I didn't. What was I like? How old was I? Maybe about 26, 27, something like that. I was young. You know, that just wasn't my world. You understand what I'm saying? I hadn't been around anything like that. Ever. So, I believed them at first, some of the things they would say to me. You know, but the chaplain, she told us we have to be careful because they will lie to you, you know, for sympathy. Or just because manipulation, just because they can. Or it's just been a way of life for them. Or they don't want you to look bad at them. They don't want you to look down on them, you know. Various reasons, you know. And I was so into, you know, God and Jesus, you know, Christ, and just love and, you know, prayer and just belief and just God, I know, you know, God will change your life. And I was just so entrenched and steeped. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. It's not. It's a great thing. You know, I was just so innocent and pure in how I looked at everything, you know. And it would hit me sometimes after I left. Oh, she was lying. you understand? That's not true what she said to you. You know what I'm saying? But the thing about it is,